Good afternoon, everybody. I mean, where are we at, Megalast? This doesn't look the same as what we're used to. What's happening here?
No, I'm looking around. I don't know how we ended up here, but hey, we're here for the main event, stage one. All these teams, they came into it hoping to, get to just even this point, right? You had that massive Swiss stage, you got through the group stage, and now we are truly looking at the top 8 best teams, Fletch. And I don't even know how we got here. This is just going to be an amazing match.
Yeah, I mean, this should be a really good one. We've got two, teams here that did very, very well in these group stages. I don't have the standings right in front of me. If I can do something with that and stop being stupid.
You need to know.
Yeah, Timeless won Group C. Pirates and Pyjamas were the runner-up in Group D. So, a lot of people, I think, would probably lean towards Timeless, especially with, some of the players that they've got on the roster of Timeless. Rocket, an incredible DPS player, and then you got CJ and Chopper and Opener, and just so many incredible players on both sides of these teams.
Yeah, and I mean, something to keep in mind about Timeless, they were sitting in a group with M80, a team that has been large and wide feared as one of the people who's going to rival the Toronto Defiant at the top, and Timeless still managed to walk away with that victory. And as you said, some phenomenal talent on this roster just across it. Of course, Pirates and Pyjamas on the other side of it, not being a slouch at all, though. You have some familiar names potentially from World Cup. You got Magic 8 Ball, Strider running around here, and just people who they've been playing for a while. They want to sort of earn their way up, and they finally found their footing here on this roster.
Yeah, and I mean, this is just the beginning of OWCS, right? I mean, this is it's just, I'm going to say it right now. It's an honor to even have the opportunity to be here for this first main event, to get in on the ground floor of OWCS. So I'm really, really looking forward to a great event here and a great match between Timeless and Pirates and Pyjamas. I think Timeless and Pip are going to be two very, very close teams. You see, we've got the schedule here of the 4 games that are going on, I believe, right now. Toronto Defiant versus LFO on the main broadcast, the OWCS Twitch channel. The one we've got, Timeless versus Pip. I believe that would be on OBS Sojourn's stream, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but somewhere else, somebody's got Luminosity versus Shikigami. And then on BPL2 on our other channel, we've got Students of the Game versus M80, which I think that one's going to be a banger match as well. I think we've got here on BPL 2 incredible matches lined up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, albeit besides the first match, Toronto is going to be a bit one-sided, I think is what everyone's going to at least predict. But yeah, it's just super, super interesting. These truly are the best 8 teams, right? They made it through that group stage and things of that nature in order to get to this point. So now they're sitting in this double elim bracket. And we have to remember what they're competing for. There's a nice little prize pool sitting at the end if you're able to claim that first prize. Obviously, some consolation prizes depending if you get 2nd through 4th, as well as a massive amount of those points that you're going to need to qualify for those main events, those international events when they come up down the line. So obviously a lot to play for these teams, as well as just, bragging rights. You really want to say you are the best. And I mean, especially with this match here, Timeless versus Pirates and Pyjamas. Timeless, they've already proven they can go toe-to-toe with these big boys. They took out M80 in the groups, and I promise you, they're going to be itching for their chance to potentially take on Toronto Defiant if they can get a win here in this match.
Hey, calm down. That match is about to start. It's happening very soon. LFO is no slouch, for the record. I mean, I think that one is also going to be a good match. A lot of people, and I mean, that team on Toronto is disgusting, but LFO, they're good too, right? Yeah. So I think that they stand a chance there against Toronto Defiant. But yeah, I mean, this should be a fun match here. We are getting our map selections in right now. We're trying to get them for you. And here in a second, the teams are doing their thing right now. We're just waiting for that ready to go into the game. Another thing that I want to talk about, right? There was a patch on Tuesday, and last week there was an abundance of Mauga, Sombra, Reaper. That was what everybody was playing, and the devs saw that and the complaints of the community, and they were like, nah, let's not do that. And they nerfed Mauga, they nerfed Sombra, and they nerfed Symmetra, I believe. So from what I understand and what I saw, I mean, I think Mauga is still viable. I think you can still play Mauga. I saw a little bit of that earlier today. But I kind of expect Orisa to come out as the front runner, and then, you know, maybe Tracer or Genji in a Sojourn, and then I think Kiri Lucio backline is probably the way to go.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and it comes down to sort of this brawl existence that was brought on, right? We're still, even though we've gotten that hot patch to come through, fix everything up with Mauga, that way he's more in line with the other tanks, it still sort of got everybody in this mindset of playing brawl, playing very just aggressive and heavy in the front lines and things of that nature. And, you know, with only 3 days between that patch, or I think it's even 2 days between that patch and these games, you know, teams, instead of trying to pivot to a whole new composition, relearn the meta, you just sort of substitute it with the next best thing. That's why you're seeing teams, you know, they've been experimenting with things like the Ramatra, the Orisa, seeing some Junker Queen here and there, just sort of all-encompassing this brawl. But as people are learning more and more, you know, in this brawl mirror, if it's going to stay that way, Orisa really is queen. She has the tools to shut down the other brawl tanks, you know, pretty well. Even, you know, somebody like Mauga, she was able to sort of, not necessarily go toe-to-toe with in his OP state, but was able to sort of at least stand a chance, you know, especially with those changes that came through a while back where she can't be, you know, those magical crits that Mauga gets can't happen to her in Fortify. And just overall, it made people realize, this Orisa character is a lot better than we've been thinking. A lot of subtle buffs have come through over and over, to the point where now we might be looking at a world where she's the meta, especially when she has a Kiri and a Lucio, you know, Lucio speeding her around the map, as well as the Kiri providing that ever-important cleanse to make sure that Orisa stays in the fight, causing chaos for anybody on the other team.
Could not agree more. We do know, however, what our map pool is going to be for this matchup. We've got Samoa, Kings Row, Esperanza, Suravasa, and coming up as the tiebreaker map is going to be Shambali Monastery. I mean, if you're going to think Orisa, Rush, or Brawl, I mean, all 5 of these maps, with maybe Shambali Monastery being a slight outlier, but even then, I mean, all of this really does kind of lean into that kind of playstyle with the Orisa, or even, you know, Mauga or Junker Queen.
Yeah, absolutely. These maps definitely can favor that sort of play style, but it just sort of encompasses what these teams want to play and things of that nature, especially if you're looking at our first map here of Samoa. I mean, this map's still, I think, the newest one in the game. Nothing else has been added since then, and there's a lot of, you know, differences between the 3 points, you know. There's obviously different ways that you could try to attack them, but Brawl seems to always sort of be pretty relevant on each point, as well as this is one of the few control maps where I feel like playing on the point itself can reward you in a lot of situations. You know, you have the sort of natural cover needed on most of the points in order to just sort of work exactly what you need to, albeit besides our lovely little island where if you're playing on the point, which is on the low ground, might be a bit of a toss.
And here we see Pip is going to come out with the Ramatra Rush, Rocket and Chopper going over to their signature, and Timeless coming out on the Orisa. The rest pretty much the same. So as we get into downtown, we'll see which of these tanks is going to be the difference maker here. Stone takes a little bit of damage as Chopper is throwing in these shots from the Sojourn. 75% charge, not quite able to find much of anything here. They're not giving him any opportunities here for the side of Pip. They're able to play around this pillar and stay out of the line of sight of Chopper. 100 charge for Chopper in the back line, has a shot, does not connect, but you know who will? Rocket, able to track down Magic Mate Ball, and the go button is hit for Timeless. They are up one, but it's going to be a couple of trades. Chopper and Opener cannot stay alive. Icy trying to keep this fight going in the middle of the point on downtown, but the numbers are so heavily in the favor of Pirates in Pyjamas. Icy trying to keep these hands up and going, but as the Nemesis form fades away, so does the life force of Icy, and Pip will take the first fight and flip.
Yeah, and Timeless, they got that first pick onto the Lucio. It looked super promising, but Lucio's almost the expendable member of this comp. Once the Orissa's in place, she can do exactly what she needs to. Icy now giving up the go off of the Ramattra. We're on the mirror now completely with this Orisa, but Pirates in Pyjamas for this next fight, they have all of the power right now, especially with a really early Kitsune Rush probably coming out from Divinity here.
Here we go. CJ throws out the Kitsune Rush. Both are infested, but now Timeless are behind in the count. CJ trying to throw these Ofuda in, but cannot get the healing as Chronic takes down a couple. There's nothing that Rocket can do alone.
No, they cannot. And so now, just off the back of that Kitsune Rush is all that either team invested, but Pirates in Pyjamas, they, get a phenomenal hold. They get the Orisa low to the point where Icy just has to play defensively, can't do anything. And now heading into the next fight with all these tools to their name, pretty much their only goal is to not overexpend, as long as they don't have to invest every single ultimate to win this next fight. I think they'll be sitting pretty for potentially the rest of this round.
Stone on the off angle trying to find the damage, and Chronic finds the headshot, and now Timeless are just falling over. Pip is getting it in, pulse bomb out from Rocket, but clean removal of the head from Chronic, and right now Pip, they're in control.
Yeah, and so now you're looking forward. Just another fight won. Sure, you lost your Tracer in the middle of that, but again, it was just the Orisa ult invested. Chronic's been getting these picks without even having to commit this overclock, so now, while it is going to be mirrored overclocks depending on who pops first, so far Chronic's really been getting the better.
Here we go, Chopper, the first to use overclock, but sound barrier used by Mateball and Opener in response. Not going to find anything is Chopper's overclock, and as Chronix fades away as well, this is as dry a fight as you can get at this point. 99% as overtime starts, but the whole team sees Chopper out there all alone, and they jump on the opportunity. However, as Chronic is trying to put in these shots from the off angle, the rest of the team is falling over, and Timeless finally finds some footing.
Yes, indeed. They lose Chopper in the middle of that fight to another Sojourn duel going the way of Chronic, but being able to take advantage of that, sort of push their aggression and make it work here. Now finally Timeless is going to get some point percentage building, but it's going to come at the cost of Divinity. Ooh, that's a massive stick actually.
Stone able to drop Chopper early with the pulse bomb, now getting into this fight once more. Divinity throwing in the shots, throwing out the Kitsune Rush. Responded to by nothing. There's nothing to respond to it with. Strider is able to take down CJ, and I mean, this is just wraps for downtown. Pip will take it despite the, late touches from Timeless. The numbers are just so heavily in Pip's favor.
Yeah, and it's just going to come down to those touches not being enough at the end of the day. And while Pirates in Pyjamas, they played that incredibly well. There was a lot of space being taken by Strider on this Orisa. Really, the absolute carry of that round was Chronic. So many early picks coming from the space that was being created on that Sojourn. And, when you have somebody like that, just being able to pop off consistently and win you fights before they can even have a chance to start, Timeless didn't really have a fair shake of it. So now as we're heading on to our next round here, it's going to be interesting to see if they both choose to come out with the Orisa to start with. That way Icy doesn't necessarily have that disadvantage. Both teams are showing the Symmetra, but I'm sure this is just a simple little TP out of spawn before they both go back over to the Tracer. And it's just going to be more about how much space these Orisas can make to really give their Sojourns room to operate.
Here we go. First fight on Volcano is around the fusion reactor thing on the far side. Not a common first fight position, but one that is certainly interesting. Opener trying to keep this team alive, keep the speed, keep the healing going, but Rocket is dead. And that's a lot of the backline pressure gone for Timeless, and they're just going to get pushed out again.
Yeah, and Mateball able to get a massive pick on that Lucio, taking the Tracer out of the fight here. Now you're seeing Timeless want to try to re-aggress, but Pirates and Pajamas are okay with this. They can just take point pressure and be like, okay, you want to take this, you have to come to us now.
All right, the flip does go through to Pip. Pressure from it, Timeless, but Chopper is so low. So are CJ and Opener. Icy is able going to get the trade. So it's 2 for 2 in this fight, but Rocket is popping off right now on the Tracer. Timeless have the numbers, and they've got the flip.
Yeah, I mean, a Tracer popping off like that is exactly what you needed, especially considering the fact of how bad that was looking. So now Pip, with slightly more members, is going to be kind of a staggered out contest here. It seems like everybody's actually just deciding to wait for a nice little regroup here, but Stone's going to lob the Pulse Bomb.
Not gonna find the target there for Stone. Now jumping on the backline in the face of CJ as the Kitsune Rush comes out, and a great melee into the back of Opener to take down the Lucio. The backline dead and buried for Timeless. Chronic using this overclock to try and put this fight away definitively. 2 for Chronic. Flip comes through for Pip.
Flip comes through for Pip, but Pip did have to invest quite a bit. Sound barrier got thrown in at some point, as well as it was a dueling Kitsune Rush. So now Timeless does have every other ultimate besides that Kitsune Rush online here for a potential retake, and it's going to have to be probably a heavy investment here because Pirates and Pajamas are just playing aggro.
Here we go. Pirates and Pajamas walk up, but Chopper's overclock is going to put a right through Magic Mate Ball. 2 for Chopper, 3 for Chopper. Can they make it 4? A clean 4K for Chopper. Steals the point right back for Timeless.
Yeah, and Pirates and Pajamas, they played aggressive, trying to retake that space, knowing that they were going to be playing into an ult disadvantage, surely, as long as somebody was tracking properly, but it doesn't matter. Chopper was just hitting rail after rail there, so now on this entry, you got to watch out for it again, because Timeless still has more tools in the bank to work with.
Here we go, both Orissas with the Terra Surge ready to go. Opener with a sound barrier. You see, trying to set up, trying to see when this ultimate will be used, and it's going to be used in the face of Strider's Terra Surge, but 2 people are already dead for Pirates in Pajamas. Strider not long for this world.
And that was a beautiful sound barrier coming out from Opener to keep everybody nice and healthy through that one. And Pirates and Pajamas, all of a sudden they find themselves on the back foot here. All they really have to work with in terms of ultimates is this Pulse Bomb from Stone. So Chronic potentially going to have to find some magic somewhere, coming up with those picks that we saw earlier in the game. But those picks don't come from nowhere. Strider's got to create some space on this Orisa to really make it happen and give this Sojourn a fighting edge.
Chopper sitting, chilling with 100 charge on the railgun. Looking for the opportunity, not quite finding it just yet. Trying to find this off angle, potentially find a shot. Oh, almost sent off the map by the spear of Strider there. And as the Kitsune Rush comes out from CJ, still holding on to this 100 charge, finally lets it go, but does not find a target. But the numbers now are heavily in the favor of Timeless. Volcano is almost certainly in their hands, outside of a potential miracle from this Orisa, but none to be found. Volcano goes to Timeless. We're going to a map number 3 here on Samoa.
Yes, indeed. And, Timeless, they played that beautifully, right? They cycled their ultimates. They didn't ever over-invest into any of those fights. It was just exactly what was needed. And Icy really stepped up, making sure that everybody on Timeless was able to sort of exist, being almost a bodyguard. So, people like CJ and Opener didn't have to get caught out as much here. So that's something you want to see from your Orisa. It's super, super impactful. And Pirates and Pajamas, I like their aggressive style, but if you don't have point control, it can really get punished heavily, as you saw there. The crab just walked into the water. No, where'd he go?
The crab walked into the rock. Disappeared, phase right through. Quantum phasing at its finest, and here we go, map number 3 here in Samoa. It's still going to be this Orisa mirror here as the spear comes out from Icy. Gonna find a target, not quite sure who it hit over there, but they're gonna be healed up and fine here. Another great spear from Icy, just jumping up and lobbing the spears out, and the point's going to unlock here, but the fight really has yet to actually get started. A lot of damage into the face of Icy, and the Orissa's playing Beyblade against each other, just bouncing off of each other, and Mateball and Stone are getting so low, but so is Icy. 100 HP to Dream, and Chronic cleans it up. The Dream is dead. The flip still hasn't come through. Icy being dead is a big boon for Pirates in Pyjamas, however, and especially with opener going down, this flip should come through.
Yeah, being able to focus down that Orisa was super massive, and just look at all the health bars on the side of Timeless, right? Nobody's being able to get back up to full HP, and it just shows there with Chopper going down at the hands of Magic Mateball, just sort of how impactful things like that DPS passive are in terms of just putting the healing through, and why those Kiriko cleanses are just so important. So now, as you're gearing towards this next fight, you're looking probably, if you're Timeless, to potentially Rocket just finding something with this Pulse Bomb would be a nice magical little entry pick without having to do all too much.
You go Stone on the off angle, trying to build up to one of their own. Icy got pretty low there, able to keep the Orisa alive and fighting for Timeless as the point pressure comes through. Divinity here keeping their Sojourn up and alive as the Kitsune Rush comes from CJ. Rocket just goes out just as fast. The Pulse Bomb onto the Orisa, not going to mean much of anything. And Divinity, throwing out the Kitsune Rush for good measure. 50% for Pip.
I mean, it's not as bad as it could have been because CJ used the Kitsune Rush on the other side as well, but obviously it was maybe not the most needed ultimate in the world there. But looking forward, Pirates in Pyjamas, they're looking amazing. They're playing this split so well, and that Pulse Bomb from Rocket going wide means that Timeless now lacks a lot of tools until, these ultimates come online, building these last 10%.
Very close to 3 of them, and Pirates in Pyjamas, they've got 2 here. The Overclock, the Terra Surge, as Rocket looks for this off angle, pressured out by Stone, but Stone now, the shoe is on the other foot. Both Overclocks invested. Chopper hits a headshot, and Chronic has to slide away because of it. Still 100 charge, not going to find a target there with the Overclock is Chopper, but Chronic, the fadeaway shot on the Chopper to put the map away for Pirates in Pyjamas. It's just Icy. The Terra Surge is but worthless. Overtime will begin to tick, but Pirates in Pyjamas are going to take Samoa.
Yeah, and they do it in a pretty solid fashion there, especially in that last fight. They recognized Timeless coming in with this huge ult advantage, and they just simply chose to disengage. They saw the sound barrier, they saw it all come out, and instead they just were able to somehow keep point pressure while also not letting Timeless actually gain any advantage from those ultimates. And it just put Pirates in Pyjamas in such a good position to be able to come back in with a retake without ever losing that point control, not having to worry about flipping it back over. So now they took the first map in this series, and I'd say we have an interesting one on our hands because, again, Timeless, they definitely were looking to be the favorites on this one.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would say that, but, Pirates in Pyjamas, they just came out swinging. Right? I mean, they just looked good there on the 2 maps that they won, and even the map that they lost, it was really, really close, right? So, I mean, going into King's Row, I do think that Timeless, they still have a shot. They're obviously no slouches, right? They won a group in OWCS North America, so they're not a bad team, but if they keep slipping up and letting Pirates in Pyjamas take advantage of their mistakes, I mean, I can see Pirates in Pyjamas running away with this.
Yeah, and it's something that you definitely have to watch for, especially if we're going to continue to see this Orisa mirror, right? Just because of the way that the comp is played, it's something where you will never notice the Orisa truly, but there is such an impact that is being had with the amount of space you have to be able to hold, and also just cycling your own cooldowns properly, right? If you get caught out with the wrong cooldown at the wrong time, it could create such an awful matchup for you. It could force your Kiriko to use cleanse solely to try to save you, things of that nature. And once you start snowballing, having to waste cooldowns like that for any sort of team fight, it's never going to look good. And I mean, this is truly just a Chopper highlight reel that you're seeing here, but ultimately, your Sojourn can pop off as much as you want. It's not going to be enough at the end of the day to carry you through a game. There's got to be more to it.
Yeah, and a lot can be said about how well the DPS line of Timeless played in that map, but I mean, coming into Kings Row, you're gonna need everybody to step up a little bit. Opener and CJ, you know, played their parts well enough, but it's you know, the tank in this meta, like you said, it's just like the tank almost is kind of, you know, just a figurehead to soak up damage. So you need the other 4 players to kind of pick up the slack that the tank can't output right now. And that was what Pirates and Pyjamas did so well on Samoa, is that they backed up their tank. They didn't let their tank fall over, and they dealt the damage that needed to be dealt. And you know, they took those 2 maps pretty convincingly. So coming into Kings Row, I really want to see all the damage dealers that, you know, not just Chopper, deal more damage, I guess, you know?
I mean, hey, that's a fair question to ask of anybody, right? I mean, you have the secret damage dealer, which is obviously always going to be the Kiriko, right? Those kunai headshots can always rack up tons of damage for those heroes. But yeah, it's just super interesting. You know, especially here on Kings Row, I wouldn't be surprised if at least for first point we actually strayed away from the Orisa. There is a little bit of high ground that can be taken advantage of by unique offensive strategies, as well as the defense can sort of make it work for them in certain ways. But it really does come down to just making sure that you're in sync, playing together as a team, especially, you know, in a composition like this, because as I was saying before, every single person's cooldown, you know, it's like a domino effect. They cascade together, they flow together, and just being able to do anything is going to be massively important here. Timeless is in the attacker spawn, so don't believe their comp until the time runs out, because I don't think we're seeing a Junkrat. I don't think it's happening.
I'm definitely interested in you know, a potential dive here from Timeless, as Raker is going to be in on tank here for Timeless, hovering the Doomfist or the Winston. I can definitely see either one of those. So Sunjun coming in as well on the DPS for Timeless in place of Chopper. So I'm interested to see what these changes are going to mean for Timeless, if they think that these changes are going to be you know, a boon to try and help them make the plays that they lacked on Samoa. As you see Chronic, you know, those are one-handed. What is it? Handstand push-ups? That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, I guess robots can do that, guys. All right, here we go. Timeless jumping up immediately to this high ground. I believe Stone is behind them, and they're immediately going to take this positioning on the point. Pip, they're playing from the high ground, and Strider trying to find this damage booped right into the team. So low, but Strider's able to take out Raker. It'll be a trade of tanks here, however, and that will always favor the attacker, especially when the attacking tank is a Winston. So it's going to be up to the rest of Timeless to find this out, as Strider is going to go over to Malga here. You see Chronic from this high ground trying to put the hurt on them, but the dive from Raker is going to push Chronic back, and there's going to be a tick coming through for Timeless. The damage is there for Strider as they go over to this Malga. So much potential output for this character, and they're just going to play it safe. Going to let 2 ticks go through. Strider going to dive right back in, but he's going to die right back to the spawn. 2 for Timeless, and they're going to take this first point.
Yes, indeed. After a long poke battle, which you kind of have to do when you're Timeless in that situation on that dive, you have to make sure the Malga doesn't have the right cooldowns up before you can really engage properly. But they played it patient, and they got that point exactly as they wanted to. Now they're going to be sending everybody else forward, just leaving Rocket on the Tracer here just to push the cart. And interestingly enough, Pirates and Pyjamas, they're going to stick with the Malga pick here. They're obviously looking to punish the Winston, and it means that Timeless, in order to continue to get value from it, is just going to have to play at a lightning fast tempo, because, you know, any hesitation or any wrong timings is just going to mean that those 2 guns that Malga has will melt that Winston in a heartbeat.
Here we go. Fight once again. They're past this choke point. Strider has to run out in the face of Sunjun's overclock. And the damage is going to be good to take care of Chronic. 2 for Timeless, and the overclock didn't find a lot of value in the kill feed, but I mean, it pushed Pirates and the Pyjamas back.
Yeah, now Pirates and Pajamas sent reeling once again here as Timeless is going to continue to push this payload here. Only investing the overclock means that we're closing in on another plethora of ultimates for them. And they've been so good at these rotations, even though they lost that last map. It was one of their really best highlights. So I'll be interested to see how much Timeless chooses to invest here. Probably going to start with the Kitsune Rush here, if I had to guess. And it's probably going to be dueled and met with Divinities.
Able to keep Raker alive. The Malga does so much damage with the burn. Both Kitsune Rushes are going to be invested. Divinity throwing out those Ofuda, trying to keep the tank alive. And Strider will be just fine. Chronic now trying to find the damage. Has the overclock ready to go. Sound barrier is out early. So that is Chronic's go button as the overclock comes out. They're going to find a little bit of damage here, but not a whole lot. They find a shot onto Sunjun, cleaned up by Strider there, and you see that Rocket is in the back line, but Timeless will be able to be, or Timeless is going to be pushed out.
Yeah, and it's super important. There's going to be even another little pick here onto CJ, attempting to run that teleport, just simply not in range. And so now Timeless, they're switching off of the Winston over to the Orisa, and this is going to probably prompt a change from Strider as soon as humanly possible. Because even with this cage fight up, sure, you might be able to win one fight off of it, but it is certainly going to be an uphill battle for Pirates and Pajamas now in this tank duel.
T-Stone sniffed out there, trying to find something in the backline with this pulse bomb potentially, as now Timeless begins to surround the enemy team, and so much damage into Raker. The cage fight comes out, and Raker just walks out. I guess that's a thing that can happen. I didn't know that, but Pirates and Pajamas, they have the numbers, and they're pushing Timeless out again.
Yeah, it's super interesting little interaction. I think Orisa's Fortify, if it's popped beforehand, will allow her to just leave. It's odd how it works, but it just is how it works, right? And so now with that cage fight invested, Pirates and Pajamas, they need to find another win con here, and it could be potentially being a little bit cheeky on the flank. Ooh, not spotted out by Rocket. Ooh, but is found by the spear.
How does that happen? I thought you couldn't get stopped when you start running, and I mean, now they're going to have to back up here without that engagement from Strider. The overclock from Sunjun comes out and fades away just as quickly. No targets found by the railgun, but right into the sights of Sunjun is the enemy Sojourn in Chronic. It will be a trade of tanks, though, however. You see Sunjun still trying to find this damage and going to get the pick on to Chronic. The numbers, they are in the favor of Timeless right now as the damage continues to come through. Timeless should be able to cap through B here.
Yeah, and, you know, Strider's going to come back, but this tank will be here without the rest of their team, so it might just be a little bit of a foolhardy contest. And yeah, you're seeing the Malga just run away here, realizing that it is going to be given up here, and Timeless will get the second checkpoint. So now heading into point C, again, they're building towards a pretty solid ult bank with both support ultimates online. Strider hitting the spawn room to finally go over to the Orisa. And once again, we're stuck in this mirror realm where both of them are just going to be chucking spears, looking to find their value, and just holding space so their Sojourns can really do work.
Here's the Kitsune Rush from Divinity, answered by CJ, immediately cleansed out to keep the Sojourn alive. And the damage is coming through. Pulse Bomb onto Strider, but eaten by the gold form, and not going to be able to take down the Orisa there with the Pulse Bomb. Overclock from Chronic finds a lot of damage onto Opener. On to Rocket goes down. Terra Surge out from Raker. Sunjun and Raker getting to there. It will be trades, but Sunjun is just finding all of the shots here. Strider so low, but it's just Divinity left.
Yeah, and so now, as we're circling towards this final area, sure, Timeless doesn't have all their players yet back. It's actually going to be Raker now going over to the Malga just to try to get back in time and help this little stagger fight occur. But it is just going to be a back and forth here with the ultimates being popped. Sojourn first.
1.5 meters. Sunjun's overclock not finding a target. The kite going perfectly for Pirates in Pajamas, but that's not perfect. Rocket opens up the floodgates, and now you see Sunjun trying to keep Chronic in check, and will do that with a punch to the gut. Sound barrier from Magic Mateball to keep this fight going as long as they can, and despite the Terra Surge finding Opener for Strider, I mean, this is not looking good. Wait, this is not looking good for Timeless. they're able to bring it out for Pirates in Pajamas.
Yeah,
What is happening? Rocket for 2! Rocket single-handedly keeping this fight going for Timeless. They're gonna get the cap.
I cannot believe that. That was absolutely insane. I really thought Pirates in Pajamas was about to have a comeback fight of the century, getting both the sound barrier and the Kitsune Rush online. You know, it provided crucial time to be able to stall out and just sort of keep things going. They were even getting picks, able to take key figures like the Mauga out of the fight, but Rocket showing the power that a Tracer can do with the game right now and just absolutely dominating. And now Timeless, they've gone from a position where they might not have finished the map to they have 20 seconds in the bank, Fletch. That's always massive to finish with even 1 second, because it guarantees you those extra rounds should you need to go there.
Yeah, no draw, at least for now, in sight for Timeless. That will not be forced, as Pirates in Pajamas are going to be in the attacker spawn, so I'm going to ignore them. But Timeless are going to come out on something very, very interesting. Raker going over to the D.Va. So maybe they just want to play with that verticality.
Yeah, and I mean, this is purely for that. It takes advantage of the high ground, allows somebody to contest the point, as well as, you know, coming back to peel for the team when needed. And, you know, I believe that D.Va definitely can find her values, especially on points specifically like King's Row First here, where there is that verticality you have to contest as well as the main point. So Pirates in Pajamas potentially reacting to this now that the D.Va just walked across the main area. And seems like they either didn't see it or they just want to rock out still with this regular standard composition they've been on. And it's going to be, you know, potentially on Stone here, just sort of play a little bit of find the D.Va and poke her out.
Rocket found out immediately by Stone here. The great peel there for Raker to keep the Tracer alive and shooting with those pulse pistols, but they know where Timeless is sitting at in this staircase. Stone doing a really good job of keeping Rocket in check, now putting those bullets into the back of Raker, but Sunjun once again getting this first pick is it will be Pirates in Pajamas falling over here early in their attack. They lose Sunjun, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, should be able to get that Sojourn back, hopefully in time. If not, yeah, just might have to give up a tick or two in the meantime. And yeah, they're playing this defense perfectly, you know, being able to mitigate this aggression that Pirates in Pajamas wants to come out with. But now Pirates have made their way to point.
Stone on this high ground, you know, being kept in check by Raker here. They're going to give up this first tick in this fight as they await Sunjun's return. CJ receives a quick spear to the chest as Rocket behind Strider trying to find the damage. The cleanse comes through to keep Strider from taking that damage from the pulse bomb. Right now the numbers are favoring Pirates in Pajamas as Sunjun cleanly removes Stone's skull from the spine, and Rocket Solo has to use the recall here earlier than they would have liked to, I'm sure, but the trades continue to come through, but it will be Pirates in Pajamas that take the trades and take the fight.
Yeah, and they are able to get the point unlocked here now, and that's the thing about the D.Va defense. Once it crumples, it kind of just truly does fall apart. It has to be played so methodically, so perfectly. The upside being the only character that you need to switch out is Raker back over to that Orisa, so you're not losing a ton of ult charge across the board, as it is going to be a pretty even ult situation here. The only thing we're really lacking right now is Chronic being about 25% behind towards that overclock. Otherwise, it should be a heavy invest from both of these teams. Of course, it's going to start with the dueling Kitsune rushes, but after that, it really comes down to who has the advantage in the moment.
Magic Maypole caught out early by Rocket. So now the defense has an opportunity, and it's just going to be a quick disengage.
Yeah, and that disengage is super important, not having to waste any time, just making sure that you get everybody back. You don't want to try to take a fight short-handed. And truly, coming into this next one, it's going to be the same exact situation, making sure you find where you want to start.
Here we go, Kitsune Rush out from CJ early, and Sunjun once again with the first blood. Sound barrier to keep Raker alive was so low. The Terror Surge deals a lot of damage, but that's all over health. Hi, Rocket. Chronic has something to say to you. And a great headshot there to start it off, but Sunjun responds. Sunjun has come alive here on King's Row, and this fight continues to rage. The cleanse is out from Divinity
as Sunjun continues to try to build this charge and find another headshot on to the back line here. Strider, so in the front line, the damage on to the Orisa forces them around the corner, and right now Timeless is just going to disengage.
Yeah, they disengage because they're not that short-handed. They just have to make sure they get all their players back in position. They get a better fight here at this corner, and you're seeing Pirates in Pyjamas do the same exact thing. They just want to make sure they're engaging. Look at how aggressive Chronic's being with the space being provided by Strider, trying to find some value on the Sojourn and throw a rail in and get another massive pick.
There we go. Raker has built up to the Terra Surge, the only ultimate on the board as it stands, in the quick rotate around the back side from Pirates in Pyjamas on the attack. The map has flipped as Chronic slides up to the high ground to try and build this charge. 100 charge ready to go. They let it rip. Nothing to be found there for the Sojourn. Divinity throws out the Kitsune Rush, and CJ will respond. The Terra Surge from Raker not going to find anything there, unfortunately, as the Kitsune rushes neither of them lead to a kill here. Terra Surge from Strider, but Mateball is going to open this fight up onto Opener. The damage is coming through. Strider trying to stay alive, pops the Fortify, is going to do just that as Pirates in Pyjamas begin their final push here on B, and they're going to cap.
Yeah, and look, they flipped the map, so now you're just having Timeless have to stagger back to their own defense here, but they actually managed to get a pretty good link up.
The pulse bomb onto Raker is going to lead to a kill there, but Sunjun coming out swinging with the overclock, finds two, and it's an even fight, but Strider blending Sunjun up with that spear spin is going to almost certainly spell doom for Timeless, but Rocket is somehow able to get a kill here. They're just keeping this fight going as long as they can, but they can't get it done. Opener with a quick two-piece going to lock it up and keep the fight going for Timeless.
And that's absolutely crazy, the fact that Timeless was able to come back into that one. And it truly, again, it comes off the back of some massive Tracer play. Rocket truly being the hero. Raker now being forced over to the Malgo once again, just try to get back in time. And you see that Pirates in Pyjamas, they have to be able to take advantage of this Malga. That's going to be their win condition here, especially considering the fact that Chronic should be able to have plenty of space to work with for this overclock now that there's going to be no Orisa barreling down on him.
Stone waiting in the wings, trying to find anything here. There's not going to be much aggression from the Tracer. High Chronic by Chronic. Sunjun once again, the first blood. Rocket and the gang, they're just going to collapse on top of Pirates in Pyjamas, and the fight easily goes their way.
Yeah, and I think unless a miracle comes through, potentially with Stone here, as Stone falls at the hand of Sunjun, it is just going to be a tied series here. Oh, Mateball actually able to make it back somehow. Does that trigger the OT? Was it in time? It does.
Yeah. So OT will start, but down Mateball, they're not going to have the engagement speed, and because of it, they will not get the touch. Timeless evens it up here on King's Row.
Yeah, and they do in a pretty solid fashion. You know, you said it at the start of the map, Fletch, you want these DPS to come online, and I think Rocket heard your cry loud and clear. Also, Sunjun on the Sojourn as well. I mean, can't even be mad at this performance either. Just absolutely crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna say it, Rocket really was a carry on that map and turned so many fights that had no right being turned.
I mean, yeah, Rocket was incredible. I want to point out, you know, it's not a stat that Overwatch tracks. Sunjun, I think, got her first blood on over half of the fights in this map. Just a ridiculous amount of value coming in, and the Sojourn wasn't even their problem on map number 1 when they lost. I mean, Chopper did perfectly on map number 1. But Sunjun coming in and setting the tempo with these early picks on the Sojourn, I mean, it let Rocket rampage in the backline, and because Sunjun was opening this stuff up, and Rocket was able to just absolutely lay waste to Pirates in Pyjamas, it gave the opportunity for, you know, CJ and Opener to just say, hey, we can chill out and try and focus on keeping Raker alive, who also came in and played very, very well. I mean, Timeless on all fronts
played significantly better than they did on map number 1, and you know, they even up the series here.
Yeah, they even it up in a very impressive way, and it just means that we're in for such a treat as we head further down. You know, both these teams clearly able to go toe to toe with each other. It seems like the Orisa still seeming to be the common theme. We're sticking to this standard comp, but it seems to work, right? Both these teams have a good Tracer player that they can rely on, have a good Sojourn, they have a Kiri and a Lucio who can just hold these timings perfectly, you know, with these ultimates and being able to drop them. I think pretty much every Kitsune rush was a dueling Kitsune rush because both Kirikos just realized the impact and making sure that they can meet each other every single time. And that's going to be something you're especially going to want here on Push as we're heading to Esperanza. Yeah, it's just going to be super interesting to see. I don't think we're going to be seeing anything too fancy. I don't think as far as walking out of spawn. If it does, I guess I owe somebody a penny or something. I don't know.
You owe me. You better Venmo me the penny. Okay. Yeah, they're going to hop off the fair pretty quickly, but yeah, a pretty bog standard. What we've seen all series long, Orisa rush on both sides here, getting into this first map. This has been a tug of war. I expect this to be another really, really close map here as Stone, you see, trying to get around and take an off angle as Rocket does the same, but on the other side. And Raker is going to take a sip of water there and chill out and wait to get the setup as the robot has unlocked. It will be Pirates in Pyjamas that have the early positioning on TS1. They're going to back up a little bit as this fight still hasn't started yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that neither team really wants to take this fight anywhere they feel out of position, and the bridge is the best position to hold, at least for this first half of Esperanza. But now you're seeing the Lucios get aggressive here, and that might be the go button in this tiny little corridor.
Oh yeah, and you see Strider there that's Raker actually getting super, super aggressive, and it's going to be Rockets and Sunjun taking out 2 apiece. Rocket for a third, and Timeless, their patience is paid out.
Yeah, and being able to wait it out is always going to be crucial here. And now you're sort of reeling a little bit if you're Pirates in Pyjamas. You got to come back into this one, and you're going to have this nice little corner fight. You're not going to be able to set up on the bridge like most teams would prefer to, and it's just going to come down to poking from the high ground once again. And it keeps revolving back to Orisa needs to make space until a DPS can pop off.
Go Chronic from this window, going to find a little bit of charge here early to try and find this early pick that Sunjun has done so well on the Sojourn since they came in. And will do a lot of damage to Sunjun, but the follow-up just isn't there as Sunjun slides away and gets the healing out. Pulse Bomb onto TS1 from Rocket. Stones, however, will find a target onto Raker, as without the tank here for Timeless, I mean, Pirates in Pyjamas are going to get aggro, even more so with this Kitsune rush, as they're just going to push them back, and they're just going to win this fight outright.
Yeah, and so now finally you're going to see Pirates in Pyjamas actually in control of the bot and starting to push. Just got to match that 31 meters is the goal right now, but that first checkpoint is always going to be what you want first, right? And you're seeing Chronic hold super aggressive, potentially trying to get a little bit more charge, but now on this high ground, having this overclock in play, especially when you know Sonjun has it on the other side, it's a huge advantage in terms of positioning.
But I mean, what else is a big advantage is being up a player as Definity puts a kunai right through Rocket's eyes, and they're just gonna back up for Timeless.
Yeah, Timeless has no other choice, right? You're down somebody like that, you can't just re-engage simply, and it seems like they're going to have to give up this first checkpoint here, even though Raker's just now taking the high ground forcibly, but before being caught by the spear there, holy.
Yeah, the checkpoint is hit for Pirates in Pyjamas, so they're going to get the close spawns here, but they're going to be able to track down Magic Mate Ball. Sunjun putting out a lot of damage. Rocket does unfortunately get traded here for Timeless, as Sunjun is trying to put these shots out, and Timeless, they just can't get aggressive right now. Finally, they will push up to TS1, but those close spawns
mean that Pirates in Pajamas are already back and ready to fight. Sunjun finds a headshot on to Strider, but the damage is not going to be there as both Kitsune Rushes come out. Timeless finally get some push on, or get the bot taken back.
Yeah, and it's without having to invest anything. You know, Pirates in Pajamas just choose to disengage and re-meet this fight back here at the bridge area.
CJ going down early is not going to be a good sign for Timeless, especially with Rocket once again getting their heads cleaved, and Timeless are forced to back up again despite taking a pretty decent fight.
Yeah, and it's just going to be the matter of that, but Chronic getting that pick on the Sunjun means, yeah, you're going to see Stone head over back to TS1, and we're going to keep pushing. We've already secured the first checkpoint here for Timeless, or for Pirates in Pajamas, I should say, and so this is just more and more point presence that is being gained, and Timeless, they've got to make something work here. They can't let this meterage go too high, otherwise it's going to be just a tad too much to try to come back from.
Here we go. Stopped by Timeless. They're going to, they're going to let this bot go back a little bit, but they're not going to give up too much space for Pirates in Pajamas. But, I mean, they may not have a choice now that Magic 8 Ball is dead and buried. It will be an incredible trade onto Raker, but the sound barrier from Opener to keep the team durable and is going to turn this fight. Sunjun and Rocket go to work. Opener saves the fight with the sound barrier.
Yeah, it came just a little bit too late to save Raker, but everybody else being able to be kept nice and healthy, which is what you want from a sound barrier. So now Timeless is going to get this bot back on their side of the map. The forward spawn's no longer in effect for Pirates in Pajamas, at least for the time being. And you're going to see them just try to push up here, but actually an aggressive Terra Surge to start.
Here we go. Raker not going to find a whole lot with said Terra Surge, but what an early pick from Chronic here. CJ goes down, Raker follows, and now Pirates in Pajamas are the ones that are in position once again to take this fight.
Oh, if recalling still directly into a kunai, that's gotta feel so bad for Rocket. And yeah, Pirates in Pajamas, they did all of that purely off of Timeless getting a little bit too aggressive and punishing them with regular cooldowns. You're seeing 5 glowing check marks on their side for a reason here. So now they should be able to take this next fight with gusto, really, and just do whatever they please.
Here we go. Chronic from the high ground, Stone from the opposite high ground as well. Knows where this Tracer's at generally. Rocket gets taken so low, able to get the recall off. The response is great there for Rocket, but it's going to be a disengage for Timeless right now.
And just choosing the simple disengage, take the high ground from the enemy team, and now the overclock from Sunjun.
Yeah, and they're respecting it with the sound barrier. Sunjun so electric as the Kitsune Rush comes out from CJ. They're able to take out Divinity here. A great early pick there to get rid of the Kiriko, and Raker is really low, but able to get around the corner, and CJ more than happy to keep their tank alive. But Stone and Chronic trying to even it up to there for the DPS of Pirates in Pajamas, but it will be Timeless taking this fight out. It's just a stall here.
Yeah, and while it's not necessarily meterage being gained right now for Pirates in Pajamas all too much, they're already holding an impressive lead. They're getting a few extra meters every single time they come back here, and they're burning time off of this clock, which is giving Timeless, less and less in that hourglass to try to figure out how to at least match the meterage or try to exceed it. Heading into this next fight here, now that they've pushed TS1 back across, it seems like it's going to be another high ground fight here as Pirates in Pajamas just coming out aggressive onto Riker.
Here we go. Riker pushed back by the spear of Strider. And they're building up to a couple of really strong ultimates here for Timeless. Almost 4 in the bank. There's going to be a potential overclock here for Chronic, but without Sunjun on the field, they may not need it. Magic 8 Ball able to take down the enemy Sojourn, and the push begins once again. And barely sidestepped by Chronic is that pulse bomb from Rocket, and the Terra Surge Kitsune Rush comes out from Timeless, but it's not going to mean anything.
Yeah, no, I mean, that Kitsune Rush doesn't matter when Chronic's just chucking in rail after rail. While they weren't getting the final blows, they made sure to put in the damage, ultimately paying for it with their life there. But yeah, now we're seeing another situation where Pirates in Pajamas, again, they win a fight without giving Timeless any meter progress. And they're going to be able to gain some more here now, especially considering the fact they only invested Overclock into that last fight, whereas Timeless, they invested the Kitsune Rush. And now you're seeing Rocket give up the Tracer over to the Genji now. A super interesting swap, potentially believing you could punish the backline just a little bit harder with getting in and getting out with these dashes.
Go Timeless trying something new because they don't have much time left, right? So trying to adapt here for Timeless. Rocket putting those shurikens to work up on the high ground, and Raker takes a spear there and is able to get out, stay alive, as Rocket continues to try and pressure this high ground, the players on the high ground for Pirates in Pajamas. And dash comes through, Terra Surge as well by Strider. A lot of damage. Sound Barrier comes out, hits all 5 players for Timeless. They're so durable for the time being, but the late Sound Barrier from Magic 8-Ball going to be in response. And, it's not going to mean much either, but, with Rocket going down to Strider, I mean, this fight, it might already be over for Timeless here on Esperanza. 7 seconds remain for Timeless to try and keep this map alive. Raker has the Terra Surge just about as Sunjun is able to find a shot, but can they find the touch? They do. They get the late touch in the overtime, but Chronic being able to take down Sunjun is a lot of the damage gone for Timeless. They get the checkpoint removed for Pirates in Pajamas, as they need a miracle here. Let's just call it how it is. Strider pops the gold there as the Terra Surge comes out from Raker, cleansed immediately by Divinity. Raker such low HP. Rocket, the lowest HP you can have in 0, and they all fall down for Timeless. It's just Sunjun left, and that will do it for Esperanza. Pirates in Pajamas, they will take map number 3.
And they do it in just such an insane fashion. Again, I feel like there wasn't a point in that map where Pirates in Pajamas wasn't in control. They sort of had it mapped out so methodically, playing the angles instead of, necessarily winning every single fight. They timed the fight. They made sure that there was never a point where Timeless could get in and do anything they wanted to. They had to play Pirates in Pajamas game. And for a series that I definitely feel like Timeless was the favored ones heading in, Pirates in Pajamas, they're looking to take this one.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to need to see a similar response going into map number 4 that we saw on King's Row. I believe our flashpoint is going to be Suravasa. So Junker Queen maybe. I like the Junker Queen plays here on Flashpoint. I mean, obviously the speed helps a lot to get around the map, but I mean, those long corridors and flat fights mean that the Junker Queen can just get up in your face and absolutely be a nightmare. So maybe potentially, a switch coming in for Flashpoint.
Yeah, unfortunately, like, as much as I want to see the Junker Queen, I think Orisa does shut her down really hard. But hey, who knows? Because there sort of can become this little bit of a switching game that can happen in that sort of situation, right? You could start switching over to the Zarya even to be like, oh, we'll counter the Orisa this way. Then once you're in a Zarya mirror, where do you go? And things of that nature. I mean, it truly comes down to what these tanks are comfortable with here. And I love that quick little replay highlight there, because yeah, it's so weird. Esperanza felt like there was never really like a crazy, oh my gosh moment. It truly was just methodical, well thought out gameplay coming out from Pirates in Pajamas, and Timeless just sort of, it was like a 9-to-5 worker at an office. They clocked in, they did what they had to do. There just unfortunately wasn't anything else that Timeless could do in that situation.
Yeah, and I mean that was picture perfect from Pirates in Pajamas. That slow, methodical gameplay. It's just how that Orisa composition can work, right? I mean, it's one of the best ways to play it. Like, if your Orisa doesn't die very much, you're just gonna win, right? And tank, it's just a damage sponge right now. So if you can soak up that damage perfectly like Pip did on Esperanza, you know, it's just going to be so hard for whoever you're playing against to take advantage of you, because you can't kill the tank, and that's supposed to be the easiest thing to kill right now. So if Timeless cannot adapt to this slow, methodical gameplay that Pirates and Pajamas are rolling out with, I mean, it's just not going to be a good thing for them, as we see the bracket here. Toronto Defiant taking care of LFO in the official stream, and then Luminosity and M80 each moving on to the winners semifinals. So a great tournament shaping up here.
Yeah, every single other match hitting a 3-0 scoreline except for this one, funnily enough. So, you know, this truly shows how good these teams are, right? Being able to battle back and forth. And, you know, while we're trying to sell Esperanza as maybe this more one-sided affair, you know, if we think back to Kings Row, Timeless definitely knew what they were doing, and Samoa really could have gone either way on a lot of those points. So being able to sort of battle back is going to be the name of the game here. Timeless, you're down, but you're not out. You still have stuff to prove here, especially with the maps going forward. Servasa, you know, as you said, Fletch, there's a little bit of opportunity on Flashpoint to get a little bit crazy. You can bring out some odd compositions. The Junker Queen totally could be fun, as long as neither team pretends the Orisa hero is there.
Okay,
But yeah,
let's GA that real quick, guys. Let's just go Junker Queen here for. Let's just go Junker Queen here for Saravasa. We can go back to the Orisa in the case that we head to Shambhala Monastery, but let's just chill out on that for a little while. But yeah, it's just, you know, it's up to Timeless, right? It's all on the onus. It's all on them. They need to be able to adapt to the adaptations that Pirates and Pajamas are making, because, you know, we saw on Samoa, Pirates and Pajamas were taking the initiative, and you saw on Kings Row, Timeless kind of flipped that on its head, where they were the ones that sped up. And so Esperanza, Pirates and Pajamas, they said, let's just pump the brakes. So they not only pumped the brakes, they floored the brakes on Esperanza, and, you know, heading into Saravasa, which is, you know, traditionally a pretty quick map here. I'm interested to see how the adaptations are going to come through.
I mean, yeah, it's a quick map. It's called Flashpoint for a reason, right? But yeah, it's just going to be super interesting, especially with how the Flashpoint game mode works. Obviously, those points ticking up super, super fast, and sort of allowing everybody to go exactly how crazy it is, just back and forth. But yeah, it's just going to be super interesting to see here, as I thought we were going in a map, but it seems as though we have been slightly baited. Oh no, we're being baited back. We get to see the lovely crocodiles, which weren't there at the start. I promise they weren't.
They're so like, I love the attention to detail here. I mean, this is awesome. You know, they're updating the maps, even if it's insignificant. It's a lot of fun. But here we go, map number 4, and it's going to be much of the same. No Junker Queen in sight. The Orisa duel will ensue once more here on Market. 45 charge here for Sunjun on the railgun. Can they find something here as it fades away? Not going to find much of anything. The point is going to unlock here in the next 5 seconds or so. They're going to throw out the disruptor shot, and this charge going to finally build up here for Sunjun. Can they open it up? The damage is so mullet. I don't know what I said there, but Strider is eviscerated, gone from this world. And the fight should go in the way of Timeless here, especially as all that flew in the right side.
Yeah, and, you know, I was actually going to question, you know, we have Sunjun in, no offense, Sunjun, no slouch on the Sojourn, but where's Chopper been? And before I could even say it, Sunjun decided to silence me there with some phenomenal play, getting super aggressive. And it's just absolutely great to see, you know, Timeless, again, that bounce back mentality of we're not done yet, and just being able to still play their own game here. So now you're seeing them take the far position of the point here. They even seem to allow Pirates and Pajamas, like, walk in, we dare you, we'll just poke you out from a distance until we can finally find the damage where we want it.
All right, here we go. Strider has decided to take the onus onto themselves so low. Has to use the spear spin to stay alive there. So that little piece of utility is gone. Chronic throws out a shot, does not find a hit. And they're just going to push back Pirates in Pajamas. Raker spins the spear and shoves them all backwards, and the disengage comes from Pip.
Yeah, and so now you're heading towards the final fight potentially here, unless Pirates in Pajamas can piece something together. But you're seeing Rocket in this backline throwing the pulse bomb wide, but still doing the damage.
Yeah, it got the cleanse out from Pirates in Pajamas. The flip is going to come through as Timeless disengages in the face of the Kitsune Rush. Strider throws out the Terra Surge. Cleanse comes through. Strider stuck. Strider dead. Stone able to get the pick, and Pirates in Pajamas firmly put themselves on this point.
Yeah, the space created by Divinity's Kitsune Rush did exactly that, and they had to throw the overclock in on top of it. But hey, when you're Chronic, you can build those pretty quickly, so I'm sure you don't mind all too much. Now Pirates in Pajama in the defensive position here. They're going to have the Terra Surge as well as the Sound Barrier to be able to hold this one. On the other side of things, though, Opener should be able to mirror the Sound Barrier whenever it decides to come out, and then Sunjun again in a hero position with the overclock online.
Terra Surge is out from Strider, answered by Opener's Sound Barrier. Magic Mate Ball buried. Overclock out from Sun Jun to put this fight and potentially the entire point as a whole away. The overtime wick begins to burn. Market goes to Timeless.
Yeah, and they do it in a pretty solid fashion, obviously losing that one fight to Pirates in Pajamas Ultimates, but now as they're looking forward here towards our next point, it's going to be super interesting to see, especially with Timeless getting the first positioning here. Not all too worried about it or anything like that, and you're seeing Rocket so aggressive, so close to yet another pulse bomb here, and even taking a Tracer duel here on the sidelines. It could be massive depending on which way this goes.
First fight begins here on Palace. Rocket still trying to keep this Tracer duel in check. Now backing around, going for the flank, has the pulse bomb ready to go. They see Divinity so low, and Timeless right now gonna get pushed back by Pirates in Pajamas. The flip will come through, and Timeless, they're just playing it safe here. Cleanse out from CJ, but the patience is well worth it as Sunjun removes Magic and Mate Ball from the fight, but Stone is going to answer with a pulse bomb to the Orisa. Raker dead and buried here as the Kitsune Rush comes out from CJ. They think they can turn this fight, and they can.
Yeah, and they do it perfectly, right? The Orisa obviously being the main thing at creating space, but Kitsune Rush does a pretty damn good job of that as well here. And since Pirates in Pajamas reeling, a fight they definitely feel like they have locked down in their favor. It just simply seemed to not go their way. And now Pirates in Pajamas, they've got to figure it out, and it could be off the back of their own Kitsune Rush from Divinity here, but Riker's going to hold the space here on point, having the Terra Surge in the back pocket if needed to try to survive the onslaught that Pirates in Pajamas is going to bring.
Timeless ready to go for this next fight. Rocket and Sunjun able to get out, stay alive. Terra Surge out from Raker, pushed away, and there's so much damage being put into Raker right now. The pulse bombs going to come out from Rocket, not going to find a target, but Magic Mate Ball will with that boop to take down the Orisa. And Timeless, they just have to get out.
Yeah, Timeless really does just need to leave. They can't be staggered out, and you're seeing the call for the retreat happen in real time. But they're going to attempt to be chased here by Pirates in Pajamas. They want to get these stagger picks because already at 60%, a stagger pick could net you a pretty good position for the final fight of this point. But now, being able to re-engage, Timeless is coming in, but they are coming in short-handed in terms of the tools. Only the Sound Barrier to work with. Meanwhile, Pirates in Pajamas, 2 DPS ultimates to their name, Striders, Terra Surge. It's just all in Pirates in Pajamas' favor. It's their fight to lose.
Sunjun trying to open it up like they did so well on King's Row as the overtime tick begins to burn here, and the Sound Barrier is going to save Rager actually in the face of that pulse bomb. The Kitsune Rush out from CJ will not mean much of anything as it is all blue in the kill feed. Sunjun does get a trade, and Opener trying to help their Sojourn out. They see the Stone in this backline trying to put in a lot of damage, and with the spear going into Sunjun, that will spell doom for Timeless here on Temple. They take the point.
Yeah, the second point gonna go. So now we are tied 1-1 here on Flashpoint. Worried about our next point. Now we're heading on over into the Palace. And it's just, again, it's going to be about the positioning. It seems like Pirates and Pyjamas are set up to get into the point first. And the advantage, I guess, for Timeless is that you just watch Pirates and Pyjamas expend everything into that fight. So now you should be coming into a pretty clean situation, albeit Divinity could get this Kitsune Rush at any moment, and that's always going to be a massive space creator, so you got to be ready for it on the other side.
You see Rocket just running Stone down here. Gonna put a little bit of damage into the Tracer, but you see Pirates and Pyjamas, they're just on the other side of the point right now. A lot of damage being put into the Lucio, but Mateball able to slide away, stay alive as the Kitsune Rush is thrown out by Divinity. Now it's Rocket on the other hand here trying to get run down by Stone. The flip is going to come through for Pirates and Pyjamas, but I mean, this is far, far from over. The Pulse Bomb comes out, not going to find the target onto Mateball. Can they take down the Lucio? The TP from the Kiriko to keep the Lucio alive as Chronic finds two to keep this fight going. They can't find the shot onto the Tracer, and it should be Timeless here that's able to take this fight. Chronic slides in solo. So alive as Chronic somehow is gonna find Rocket. Chronic first. What is happening?
Chronic is turning this fight single-handedly. Obviously, it helps when both your supports are alive, so maybe not single-handedly, but these Sojourn rails are landing true here, and now Pirates in Pyjamas in a phenomenal position to take this next point and put themselves not just at map point, but at series point. Timeless, they've got to find a way back into this one, but I don't know if they can.
All right, here we go. Potentially one to go. They get the touch from the Tracer here. They have the ultimates. They have what they need to do here. And Raker with the Terra Surge is going to be able to drop Divinity. There was also a Terra Surge out from Strider. Rocket throws out the Pulse Bomb, able to take down Strider. But of course it's Chronic. Of course it's Chronic. Two for Chronic here, and it's just Chronic left. There's nothing the Sojourn can do, and Timeless will find their footing here on Palace.
Oh, and it's just absolutely crazy to me that Chronic, still in the face of adversity, was getting pick after pick there on the Sojourn. It truly shows just how much power a DPS player can have and how aggressive and oppressive this high ground can be when utilized correctly. You're probably going to see Sunjun now set up here now that Timeless has the point in their favor, but Timeless definitely wants to claw this one out, and it could be off the back of an early Kitsune from CJ here.
Here we go. The only ultimate in the bank is CJ's Kitsune Rush. Divinity very close to theirs. Timeless pushed back for the time being. There's pressure on the point, I'm sure will be met with aggression as well. The Kitsune Rush going to push Pirates and Pyjamas back for the time being. Raker thrown against the wall by the spear as the it's still not the Overwatch timer, but the wick begins to burn for Pirates and Pyjamas. They have the flip at 99%. Sunjun has the overclock and the stick, but it's cleansed. I thought that CJ had TP'd away, but just in time, Sunjun comes alive here, gets the pick onto Stone with the overclock. They lose Sunjun, but it's just Strider and Chronic left alive here as, I mean, at 76%, they're going to take it back.
Yes, indeed, and they're going to be able to do it, you know, with another chance for them to lock Pirates and Pyjamas out, not even allow them to get back into the point here. Rocket could stick a massive pulse onto somebody looking for this contest here. It's probably going to be Stone. The Tracer always going to be the one destined to touch these points. But just doesn't touch!
No, they don't do it. They decide not worth it, and they're just going to go to the next point.
Wow, I mean, it's interesting to give that up, and you sort of banked on the point being the ruins, but it seems as though it's gone the other way. So now, not only did Timeless get that last point, and they're now on map point, they even get the early positioning on this last flash point here with tools in the bank to work with here. The thing you're going to want to watch out for is Opener building the sound barrier in time to stop Chronic from going crazy with yet another overclock, as they're both pretty equally timed here.
All right, here we go. Garden, first fight. Strider getting aggro, but it's going to be Raker that throws out the first ultimate of the fight. Terra Surge is out and gone, not able to find much of anything. Opener throwing out the sound barrier in the face of Chronic, who, you know, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all, Opener. Chronic been scary this map, but not going to find anything with that overclock as Rocket gets a two-piece there. Chronic not going to be able to find much of anything as Rocket cleans it up. 3 for the Tracer player, and Timeless take over.
Yeah, and Timeless, they want to be able to take this map, send us to that map 5, but there's still a bit of an uphill battle to do it. Pirates and Pyjamas, they're coming back in. Sure, Chronic threw in the overclock, but now every other ultimate is at their disposal to use. Meanwhile, all Timeless has is Kitsune Rush from CJ, and while these have been massive, CJ has been a phenomenal Kiriko in this series. It might take a little bit more than just an ultimate to find some value in the plethora of everything that Pirates and Pyjamas is about to throw at you.
Bumper cars on the point as the fight begins. Both Kitsune Rushes thrown out, crossed there. They are going to find the Pulse Bomb onto the Orisa, but they get the kill onto Opener. Sunjun is able to get the response, but it's 3 for the price of 1 on the side of Pirates and Pyjamas. 70% is all Timeless will get here in their first push.
70% for 3 ultimates. I think, Timeless, you got to be happy with that one, especially considering, again, you got the 70% on the board here. So if you get a flip and then an early pick, you could potentially be calling this map yours, and you're going to re-engage into this one with both of your DPS ultimates online. The scary thing is, though, Strider with this Terra Surge, I mean, Orisa already creates a ton of space, being able to do it ×2 with it, but CJ actually starting this one.
Here we go, a great headshot there onto Chronic from CJ as Sunjun with the overclock, going to get speared to a wall, but the healing comes through. The damage is just too much, and we're going to see Timeless take over here at 70%. There's only going to be one more chance.
One more chance. Everybody building towards ultimates, but nothing online here. Riker is the closest with that Terra Surge, and that's going to be such a space denial tool here for Pirates and Pyjamas that if they're trying to get back into this one, it's going to come down to another miracle touch here. It's probably going to be off the back of a Tracer, and you're seeing Stone blink in now.
Stone gets the touch. Terra Surge and Sound Barrier building so close for Timeless. Strider has no Fortify. Not anymore. Can they find a pick? Rocket is able to get the Sound Barrier and blinks right back onto the map. Pulse Bomb out from Stone, not going to find a target, but Sojun will. The Terra Surge is so big for Riker, it's going to deny all of the space, and we're going to a map number 5.
Absolute insanity happening here. We were promised a giga banger, and we're getting it here in round 1. Neither of these teams want to go to that lower bracket just yet. They want to fight it out, and they're truly going toe to toe with each other, tick for tack. It feels like every other moment somebody else is popping off in this series. You don't know who to watch out for, and I mean, it's just absolutely crazy to see. Sure, people are going to complain, oh, Orisa's not that fun to watch. I don't care. That bumper card, the space being created, allowing these DPS to do everything that they need to do. It truly feels amazing in this series right now, because now it's all coming down to the final map.
Yeah, and what a series, man. Both of these teams trading blow after blow, both teams bloody, battered, trying to keep their tournament in this upper bracket. I mean, what a series we have on our hands here between Timeless and Pirates in Pyjamas. Going into map number 5, the decider is going to be Shambali Monastery. I kind of, don't expect anything new going into Shambali. I think it's going to be the Orisa. It's going to be the Sojourn, the Tracer. It's just going to be, the tale we've seen all series long. And I'm sure in all of the other streams, it's all the same. And I mean, wow, what a cleanse that was on the Sunjun. Wow.
Yeah, that's something that we're not really highlighting in this series at all, is these phenomenal Kiri players. They're just hitting these perfect cleanses like that. Like, Divinity's done it quite a few times as well, and it's just sort of something that happens, right? Like, Kiri players just sort of are like, yeah, I naturally know to do that. I know to make sure that it happens. I'm not worried about it or anything like that. And it just adds this whole other level, to really show why these players are the best of the best right now. And just being able to do that consistently without ever having to falter, it requires such a high level of everything. I can't even put it into words. I just feel flustered.
Yeah, I mean, we got an incredible series here on BPL. You know, I said it at the beginning of the series, and I'll say it once again, and I'll probably say it before we sign off tonight. What an honor it is to get to be here and be the one for this match. You know, one of the best we see. You know, a lot of times these series that are early on in tournaments, they're not very good. We saw some of the other series. The Toronto Defiant game, apparently LFO actually took a map, so it's actually 2-1, or it was 2-1 when we saw it before this map. So I don't know how that series is going right now, or if it's finished. But the other two matches came out and they were 3-0s. So to see a first round 5 map gigabanger is honestly, it's not a common thing.
No, absolutely not. But the unfortunate thing about gigabanger matches like this is they have to come to an end, and it will be here on Shambali, unless they somehow hit a Shambali draw, which theoretically escort draws are possible, but I think you have better odds of hitting the lottery sometimes.
They have to be so intentional. They have to be so intentional.
Yeah, they pretty much have to be intentional, and it's just absolutely amazing to see. Shambali, while we don't expect it to change, you know, I would not be all too surprised if like an offensive team tried to run a little bit of Ramatra or something like that. But again, it's just a matter of, even if you want to run the Ramatra because it can help with the mobility and sort of climbing the mountain that is Shambali, it just, unfortunately, Orisa can bully him far too much. You're seeing Divinity on the Zenyatta hero. Hate to break it to you, unless we're reverting a few patches back to the start of Season 9, I think that one is going to have to stay in the drafts. But, I don't know, it's going to be super interesting to see here. Actually, it seems like Divinity is doing an odd little lineup. Yeah, lineup out of spawn before going back over to the Curie. That was an interesting one. Would have been super cool if it got a pick.
Yeah, well, not quite. As this first fight begins, Chronic takes a lot of damage, has to slide out of that disruptor shot from Sun Jun. We see Chronic trying to build up this charge, now walking over to this off angle, gonna try and find a target here, and it's gonna be Sun Jun. Sun Jun explodes, and that will be the go button here as opener so low. Gonna get taken down by Stone. A lot of damage from Chronic, and right now it's Pirates in Pyjamas that are taking the initiative.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you need to do on offense on this map, right? Take the space, claim it as your own, and hold it super aggressively here. As you're seeing this cart already wrap around, but this is the struggle point of Shambali first. You have to get around this corner where there's such good defensive positioning. This building that you're seeing to everybody's left is just super great for Tracers to flank in and out of, something you always have to watch out for, and just always looking for these little off angles, the potential to get a pick.
Here we go. Fight is going once more. Magic Mate Ball trying to find a little bit of damage. CJ took a shot there, assumingly from Chronic. Able to stay alive though, so they're going to keep their Kiriko in this fight. You see Magic Mate Ball and Chronic on this off angle, being little rats in the back, as it will be a trade opener for Stone here. But that should be a go button here for Timeless, especially with this Kitsune rush thrown out. Magic Mate Ball responds with the sound barrier all pulled together, and Strider's able to take down CJ. The Terra Surge from Raker not going to find any value, and the defense will hold strong here.
Yes, indeed. And again, that's the reason this defense is a pain point. There's just too good of positioning for the defenders here in Timeless. They're able to play around it perfectly. The advantage, of course, that you have now, if you're Pirates in Pyjamas on this offense, you have a bit of that advantage with the Terra Surge being online. Obviously, it sucks that Mateball had to use Beat there for pretty much nothing, but also Stone could be big with a Pulse Bomb. We haven't seen one of these from Stone in a hot second. Would be massive here and now.
All right, here we go. Stone with this Pulse Bomb in the pocket. Raker, you know, was looking for the potential stick there, but got the sound barrier from a opener. as the overclock comes from Sun Jun and fades away. Not going to find much of anything there, but Divinity will. Rocket dead and buried, but Sun Jun said, hi, Stone, you're dead now. So the Tracer is gone for Pirates in Pyjamas. Both Tracers are no longer in this fight, as it's just Raker left on this point, and no dice there with the Terra Surge from Strider. Chronic so low, so is Mayball. Strider jumps on the back line. Can they take down Sun Jun? The slide comes through. They cannot get the job done. 45 seconds on the clock for Pirates in Pyjamas.
Yeah, and having to disengage from that one, certainly brutal. They had all the positioning, they had it all forward, they just couldn't finish up these kills, finish up the damage here, and Timeless really sinking their fangs into this defense here. They are setting themselves up for a phenomenal final fight where they're going to have a plethora of tools to work with. It's going to be just, again, more dueling Kitsune rushes as well as Riker with this Terra Surge, you know, threatening anybody. Hey, you want to touch the point, you're going to do it by taking a massive amount of damage. So it's going to come down to, you know, Pirates in Pyjamas are pretty much going to need a Hail Mary miracle play to make this one work.
All right, 2 in the bank for Pip. So the Terra Surge is going to come out, and they take down Magic Maple. That was one of their...
They don't touch! They don't touch! Absolutely unfortunate. You lost Mateball, but the Terra Surge created so much space. Nobody else was able to get onto the point. Oh, it's super tragic to see that, you know, after how back and forth this series has been. Pirates in Pyjamas, they just sort of hit a wall here, as Timeless, they really seem to have just leveled up their game, almost sort of playing it perfect there. And now it forces Pirates in Pyjamas to sort of come alive and you know, you have to hit an even more perfect defense, because now you're not even just holding the first point, you're holding a little bit before it. That golden box of victory is going to be the marker that you look out for here if you're Pirates in Pyjamas.
Yeah, and, you know, admittedly, you know, if we see a full hold, it's a lot of the time it's on Shambali A. So it's very winnable for Pirates in Pyjamas here, but they, like you said, they need to play it perfectly.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be perfect. They can only afford maybe 2 mistakes, right? They don't have a lot of room to give here going into this defense. So they need their playmakers to make plays.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, if there's a time to step up, it's probably going to be now, right? You're 2-2. You want to be able to win this one. You don't want to go to the lower bracket where LFO will be waiting for you. So now with both teams running out on the standard Orisa comp, nothing has changed. The question will just be, will Pirates in Pyjamas get aggressive and try to hold this corner, or will they simply hand over the space and try to take that final fight like Timeless did?
Here we go. Chronic trying to build their railgun up here. 65 charge, the first one did not find a target, but we'll see if this one is going to be any better. Pyjamas gonna just chill out, back up, go up the staircase here. Now it's free shooting here for Chronic, potentially, hopefully finding a target here. If it's not just Riker in the way, soaking up all that damage like a tank is meant to do. Booped back is Timeless, but hey guys, the point. Okay, thank you, Stone, for going to touch the point. Rocket is able to take down Stone, so the push is gonna continue. This is just free.
Yeah, somebody's got to go stop Rocket. They're throwing some damage over there, so clearly they're aware that the Tracer's on card. It's not going to be some massive C9 like we saw in that one Japan game a few days ago. But yeah, so now Pirates in Pyjamas, while they did win that first fight, they're going to lose the ability to hold this first corner, which is super rough because you're now in a one-fight territory on your defense, and you're probably just going to have to play back, really take the fight at the top of the hill, exactly like Timeless did, to try to take advantage of the positioning you have.
Here we go. The ultimate's so heavy in the favor of Pirates in Pyjamas right now. Can they do something with them as this point inches closer? Only a little under 20 meters left to go. They're going to be able to take down Riker here, which is going to be a boon for them, and they're going to push Timeless out for the time being.
Yeah, and it's just going to be the call for disengage from Timeless, and you're going to see a 10 ult fight here. So this next fight, it's going to get wacky. People are going to be throwing things in. The thing you're going to want to watch is potentially these overclocks
Okay, that's a good pick. Stone able to take down Rocket early as the overclock comes out. They don't care that the point is all the way back by the beginning. They're going to take this spawn hold and try to kill as much time as they can.
Yeah, and only having to trade sound barrier for overclock is a trade you'll make every single time there. It's a safe play, even though you had the early pick here. So now, you know, just looking to do the same exact thing. You've actually burnt a pretty good amount of time here off the clock here, as we're just above a minute left in play. And Timeless, you know, they're getting back to cart here. They're getting the positioning they want, but really it's going to be about finding the value somewhere.
1 minute remains for Timeless to capture this point. Pulse Bomb in for Rocket, out for Rocket. No targets found. Terra Surge is out from Strider, but no damage. But Stone's Pulse Bomb is going to be perfect. Opener taken down, and Rocket is all alone once again.
And, you know, all of a sudden this impossible defense is getting more and more possible, more and more time being burnt, as Pirates and Pyjamas, they're making it work for them here. They hold on to their overclock, but Timeless, they're going to be able to re-engage with not just their Terra Surge, but Opener has the sound barrier still being held in the wings, waiting for Chronic to click that Q button, because that's the perfect counter right there. Give everybody a bunch of extra health so those rails won't matter.
Here we go. Only 20 seconds left. There's no time for mistakes for either of these teams. And Sunjun opens it up early from the high ground is Chronic. 1 meter. 0.69 meters left to go here. Overclock out from Chronic. 6 seconds to go. This is it. Sound barrier from Opener is going to counter out the overclock from Chronic, but Strider is all alone on the cart. Can they do it? It's 2 for Timeless, and they're going to stand strong here. Only less than a meter to go. 0.1, they do it. They ran it so close, but they get it done in the end. They're going to move on to the winner semifinals.
They do it by the skin of their teeth. Literally, if Sunjun doesn't get that pick on the Sojourn, we are living in a completely different timeline right now. Just, you know, I gotta give props to Pirates and Pyjamas, though, for just a moment. They absolutely turned what I thought would be a, you know, an absolute dumpster of a Shimbali map there, and they brought it close. They drew us into overtime, and it really came down to just that one play, that one pick from a Sojourn, and before it all fell by the wayside, Fletch. I mean, truly just amazing to get to cast in a great series like that. Timeless, they earned that win.
Yeah, what did I say, by the way, at the beginning of Timeless's attack? Is that point is very holdable.
It definitely
is. It definitely was there. Pirates and Pyjamas, they just fall short by that much. It's just so close, man. And yeah, what a series here, as Timeless, they're going to move on. Can we get a look at the bracket real quick? Solomon, potentially, to see this bracket, how it's going to shake out moving forward into the rest of the weekend. The loser there, it will be Pirates and Pyjamas. They're going to move on to face M80. So we do know that for a fact.
Well, they're facing LFO.
No, LFO. Okay. LFO.
I was going to say, they're facing LFO actually directly after this, so make sure everybody sticks around here on the BPL channel. But yeah, you're seeing right there, Fletch, Timeless now has the true Goliath to stand up to. Toronto Defiant in the semifinals. That's not a match I'd ever want to take.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams, they've got a series ahead of them. Like you said, LFO will be taking on Pirates and Pyjamas. Just after this, after we cut this, we're gonna hop into that next match here on BPL. But on the other side, taking on Toronto Defiant, like you said, they're a monolith. But LF, I mean, they dropped a map, so they can bleed, right? They dropped a map to LFO, so Timeless is gonna want to, you know, take advantage of the blood in the water. They're gonna smell that, and they're gonna need to take advantage of the weakness. And I do think that once again, most people would have Toronto Defiant being the favorite in that series, but we saw here, the favorite isn't always the clear-cut winner. They won here in the end, but it was such a razor-thin margin for victory here between Timeless and Pirates and Pyjamas that, you know, any given day, right? Any given day.
Yeah, of course. But, while we could sit here and talk about these teams all night long, unfortunately, there is a bit of a show that's got to keep on moving here. So, at least for me, I'll let Fletch round us out. I just got to say thank you all for tuning into a phenomenal game here, the Overwatch Champion Series. Shout out to giving BPL the chance to produce these games. It really is an honor. And Fletch, just take us home.
Yeah, I mean, what a series we had. Timeless moves on to take on Toronto Defiant in the winter semifinals. I also have the same sentiments as my friend Megalas here. What a series that this was, and what an honor it was to get to cast it. We will be right back with a new pair. We've got to Try Hard Ray and Joker's Ransom to take y'all through this next match of Pirates in Pyjamas versus LFO. So stick around. I expect that one to be a banger. And I hope that I will get the opportunity to see y'all again very, very soon. Have a good night, everyone.